How can you become a better version of yourself? Being open-minded has many benefits. You may have a more harmonious connection with anybody you encounter by just acknowledging and respecting their ideas and traditions. In order to go past your differences and work together to advance both as a community and as individuals, being open-minded is the way to start. Being open-minded requires being receptive to a variety of ideas, assertions, and facts. Being open-minded is typically regarded as a virtue. It is essential for critical and logical thinking. In addition, being tolerant or unprejudiced is viewed as being open-minded. Keeping an open mind could help you grow personally. By remaining open to new ideas and experiences, you may develop into a stronger, more alive person. Being closed-minded has many drawbacks, one of which is that it frequently breeds more negativity. On the other hand, being honest might encourage a more upbeat outlook on life and your future. It's difficult to continue learning when surrounded by the same old concepts. Pushing your limits and interacting with those with unique viewpoints and experiences might help you stay mentally active. Suppose you are blocked off from alternate views and opinions. It could be challenging to notice all the factors contributing to problems or to come up with practical answers. Being able to leave your comfort zone and consider various viewpoints and ideas is crucial in a society that is becoming more closed-minded. This does not imply that having an open mind is simple. But then, what can you do? When we learn new facts contradicting our preconceived notions, being open to new ideas and experiences can occasionally cause confusion. Learning and developing personally depends on one's capacity to modify and amend out-of-date or untrue views. Even if you believe yourself to be generally open-minded, there are likely some subjects where you adopt a tougher stance. For instance, societal concerns or experiences about which you are genuinely enthusiastic. Convictions are admirable, but they do not exclude having an open mind. Being open-minded is being able to consider alternative viewpoints and making an effort to empathize with others, even when you disagree with them. Obviously, being open-minded has its limitations. However, that does not imply that you must agree with all philosophies. However, comprehending the elements that contributed to such opinions helps identify strategies for persuading individuals to alter their thoughts. Open-minded people typically are curious about learning other people's opinions. They are also capable of having their views refuted without becoming enraged when they are incorrect. Open-minded people empathize with others and think about what other people could be thinking. They are usually modest about their own competence and experience. Do you care about other people's opinions? Do you value other people's freedom to express their ideas and worldviews? Gaining some beneficial and potent advantages comes from having a more open mind. When you are open-minded, you get new perspectives on the world and learn new things about yourself. This is accomplished by challenging your preconceived notions and opening yourself up to new possibilities. How to develop an open mind? It is possible to develop an open-minded way of thinking, although it might sometimes be challenging. Our minds are geared towards seeing notions as wholes in numerous ways. A schema is a concept or a class of knowledge that we develop. In a brain process called assimilation, whenever we come across new knowledge, we have a tendency to desire to categorize it into one of our pre-existing schemas. But occasionally, our newly acquired knowledge doesn't exactly mesh with what we already know. In this situation, we must adapt our worldview through accommodation. In order to deal with this new information, we need to alter how we think. Since you are just adding new information to your current way of thinking, assimilation is typically a simple process. On the other hand, it's harder to accommodate. That's because accommodation involves changing your ideas about how the world works in response to new information and experiences. You're building an entirely new mindset. You have to be able to put aside your opinions, carefully consider the available data, and accept that you were mistaken in order to do this. That procedure may be challenging, perplexing, unpleasant, or even transformative. You can teach your brain to be more open-minded, but it requires a lot of mental effort. One of the leading causes of narrow-mindedness is a cognitive distortion known as confirmation bias. Unfortunately, it might be challenging to get rid of this propensity. The propensity to place more weight on information that confirms your prior beliefs is known as confirmation bias. One of the easiest ways to avoid confirmation bias is to be aware of it. Then consider how this prejudice could influence how you judge the material when you come across it. If something seems to be effortlessly accepted by you because it confirms your pre-existing beliefs, pause to think about some reasons that could refute them. Learning to assess information sources and become a knowledgeable consumer of scientific news items is also beneficial. Most individuals want to think that they are intellectually superior to others. Additionally, it's crucial in many aspects to be able to believe in and have faith in your own decisions. But it's essential to remember that what could appear to be tenacity or commitment to specific values may actually be a type of narrow-mindedness. Your initial reaction when hearing something you disagree with can be to question it or just shut down. You get into a frame of thinking where you are just attempting to prove the other person incorrect. Sometimes before you even get a chance to analyze all of the issues, instead of listening or taking into account the opposing viewpoint. It's simple to become engrossed in your emotional reaction to anything. You disagree with what the other person has said, don't like what you've heard, and might even want to let them know how mistaken they are. The issue with that kind of snap decision is that you are reacting under pressure, not taking the time to carefully evaluate all the variables and possibly not reasoning all that well. The other option is to give oneself a short window of time to reflect on the points and assess the data. Then, after hearing anything, pause for a second to reflect on following things before responding to the following 3 questions. Do your own arguments draw from a variety of sources? Are you prepared to change your mind in the presence of contradictory data? Will you persist in your beliefs despite the evidence to the contrary? It takes more mental work to be open-minded than to be dogmatic. It can be tough to even be open to considering different viewpoints, let alone when it opens the door to the need to change your own ideas. But it is an effort that is worthwhile, as it will make you a better and more caring person.
Yourself 2.0.
So make an effort and open your mind to new ideas, even if, after consideration, you still need to embrace them. You will be rewarded, as you will grow as a person and become mentally strong.